to this week's episode of the Phonebox Podcast with me, Emma Conway. How the devil are you? I hope you are well. I would love to hear how you're getting on over on Brum Mummy of Two, or of course you can always direct message me on the Phonebox Podcast Instagram account. We recently smashed 200,000 downloads. We must be much more than that now. So thanks so much for listening. I really, really appreciate it. Keep listening, keep reviewing, keep tagging me in your stories where you're listening. And today, some of you will be very excited, especially if you're from the Brummy Mummy of Two account, because you know I love Disney. I've got a Disney icon on. It's not Mickey. It's not Walt. Well, actually, that would be weird if it was Walt. that would be. Could you imagine what an exclusive, fresh from the freezer? Fresh from the freezer. We have got Victoria, aka Disney in Detail. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Excited to be here. Very excited.
I'm so happy to have you. We had a good old chat beforehand.
We did.
Because you've just come back from Disney.
Yes.
I've just come back from Disney. And if you don't know, you don't know the world of Disney vlogs, Victoria does amazing Disney vlogs that my family love. How many do you reckon you've got on your YouTube channel now?
I actually have a playlist of all of them, and I'm trying to think. It's like hundreds. It's hundreds.
Yeah.
From like 2016 onwards. So.
I just love them with all sorts of different people, all sorts of different. Why I love it, because you could do a bingo card with your vlogs and it will always be gets a coffee.
Yeah.
We love it.
There's that something's kind of pricey. I'm aware of all of them. I should have my own little bingo card for myself.
Oh my gosh, you should have an adults only shot game. Take a shot when Victoria buys a cup. We'd all be absolutely hammered when she buys a coffee. Okay, we just had a chat. And the year you were 14 was 1997. So I've got a couple of questions for you.
Oh my word. And also 1997, that was a long time ago. When I was thinking what year it was, I was like, what on earth?
It's not as long ago as when I was 14. So we're all right. Okay. What do you think, first of all, was the highest grossing film in 1997?
Oh my goodness. Right, hang on. I'm going to have to think back now. So
I'm going to give you a point if you get any in the top 4. There's points for nothing. It means nothing, but
because I'm trying to think what came out when. I know I remember going to see Titanic at the cinema about 5 times.
Okay, it's not Titanic.
No, it's not, because that was probably 1998.
Okay, I'm going to give you a clue.
I'm going to need one. I'm trying to think.
It involved a song and there was a bit of a strip routine in it.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Bit of a strip routine.
The people at home will be shouting, I'm sure.
They will be. My memory is the worst.
Okay, if I went imagine somebody, an older gentleman, take it off his hat.
Oh, the Full Monty.
Yay! Number 1 was the Full Monty. Number 2 was Men in Black. Absolute classic film. Number 3 was The Lost World, Jurassic Park. And number 4 was 101 Dalmatians.
I mean, what does that say, though, about people that was the highest?
It says we all like to see men bopping around, stripping slightly. Was there any? Robert Carlyle was in it, wasn't it? You can leave your hair. That's a great film.
It was like fun. It wasn't like a Magic Mike situation. It was funny, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was funny. It was great. Okay, now we're going to take a solemn. This is a clue. Solemn for what was number 1 in 1997. The mood is solemn. It's sad.
Sad.
I'm trying not to giggle, which is terrible because it is ever so sad.
Is it? Is it really bad?
Yeah, it's a really sad song, and the nation was sad.
Oh, not Candle in the Wind.
Candle in the Wind, you got it. Candle in the Wind.
Yeah,
and that would Think About the Way. Yeah, 1997.
Of course, yeah. Oh my gosh, no, that's very sad.
Where were you when you heard that Princess Di had died?
I remember. Everyone remembers where they were. Yeah. I remember. I was actually staying with my auntie and uncle, and I was helping to look after one of the babies in the family.
Yeah.
So he was a bit unwell at the time, and I'd been drafted in as just the physical labour to be helping, looking after. And the age that I was at, can you imagine me looking after a 9-month-old baby, a teenager? It was the best contraception known to man. I was there going around with as a teenage mum. But no, it was yeah, I remember that's where I was, and I got up in the morning, and my uncle was like, "Oh my gosh, you won't believe what's happened." And yeah, everybody remembers where they were for that.
I was at home and it came up on the news. I previously thought I was with a boyfriend, but I thought about this a bit more. I think that was when somebody else died and I was shocked. But this one, I was at home and I saw it on the news and I ran into my sister and I said, Princess died. And she sat bolt upright and started crying. And she thought I'd said Madonna had died. So she was
How did she hear that?
Princess
Oh,
died, Madonna's died. I don't know, but she was like, not Madonna, no. And I was like, no, not Madonna.
no, not Madonna. No, it is weird how like certain things you absolutely remember exactly where you were. Like I can't remember what I did last week most of the time, but there's certain things like that you would just always remember that.
And it was
Yeah.
such a weird, I don't think my kids can really understand. Like the nation was just absolutely like shell shocked. It was
Yeah, like it was.
crazy.
I think everything sort of came to a bit of a standstill, and people
Yeah.
were genuinely like, it was full grief, wasn't it? It was
Yeah.
like, remember it? It was
It was
crazy. Yeah.
so, I remember in Pigeon Park, which is a place in Birmingham, the church there opened up like a book you could sign messages, and I went in my
Mm,
friends and like God knows what I wrote on that little message, but I wrote a little message. Oh,
yeah.
it was not happy time. So we've gone from the full Monty to Candle in the Wind. Very
Yeah.
different.
Very, very different range of emotions there. Yeah.
Very, very different vibes. Okay, so you're 14 in 1997. Where did you grow up
Yeah.
and what was on your bedroom?
So I grew up in a fairly small town. So it's definitely small town, small, tiny little primary school that I went to, and a pretty like small secondary school as well, actually. So, and I'm trying to think like growing up before I was 14. So take that. I'm trying to remember
Oh,
they became big when I was in primary school. So I would have still been in primary then. So my bedroom was wall to wall, take that.
I
So
did not
shout,
know this about you. I
yeah,
did
yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
know this about you. Do you still
Oh,
love them
absolutely.
now?
Oh, of course, of course. I mean, obviously, if you love
Oh,
them then, you love them now. End of story. There's no like going off it. So my bedroom was literally Shout magazine and like Sugar, I think was another one. They used to have Take That posters every single issue. So all of them were plastered all over the walls. I had a Take That pencil case set, like little ruler, pencil, all of that, had that as well. In my Body Shop pencil case.
poor sobs.
Every tin pencil, everyone had one of them.
Who is your
So
favourite
yeah,
member? Because if your favourite member was Gary as well, I'm going to have to end the podcast because you
Marco.
can't. Okay, that's all right. Because if you were
Yeah.
going to say Gary, you really couldn't have the same favourite member as your friend.
Oh no, no, you can't.
No,
You can't. No,
because
Mark was my. I was the only one who had Mark as my favourite. All my friends
wow,
were, because I thought he was like up
yeah,
there. Yeah,
yeah.
he was my fave. But actually, funny story. Just to fast forward a little bit, I was so excited by this. A family member, probably it was about 10 years ago now. They work in the NHS.
Yeah.
They were like, "You won't believe came in today," and I don't think he was, just full disclosure, not like talking about things I shouldn't. I don't think he was getting anything done, but it was Mark. It was Mark, and I was like, "How did you get to see him in person?" I'm just absolutely jealous.
If there was a little knock at your door, open it. Mark Owen's there, and he's had his hair cut and everything now.
Oh, I know. Don't.
What
I'd
would
be
you
so.
do? Would your heart flutter?
I don't know what I do. I'd probably just say something completely ridiculous or embarrassing. There's a certain few people who, if I met them in person, I just don't quite know what I would be
Who?
like. Is the other person I absolutely love is Celine Dion. I love her. I'm absolutely obsessed. I used to listen to her album growing up all the time as well. And I just think she's great. And I think her personality is amazing and everything. If I met her in person, I feel like I'd just be mute. And I can talk for England, so I don't know what I'd
I
say.
feel like that about Madonna. And also, Madonna, if you're listening, and Celine, if you're listening, I do apologise. You don't know if they're going to be nice or not. I don't know. I think Celine would be nicer than Madonna, but I do worry if I met Madonna, she wouldn't be very nice to me and then it would upset
Oh,
me.
they say never meet your idols. It could absolutely crush you. So
It
maybe
could,
I'm hoping Mark doesn't come to my door, because it might be a flop and a disappointment.
yeah, I have met Mark Owen, but this was a long time ago and he was very
Have you?
sweet.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, that's not fair.
I met him in his heyday. I don't think I used to sit outside hotels. I met him at the Copthorne, Merry Hill, and we waited, and he came out, and he was gorgeous.
Oh, I
He
love
was
him.
gorgeous. I've met all of them apart from I've collected them like Pokemon over the years. I've met them all apart from Howard properly. Others, even Jason, even Mysterious Jason, I've met them all.
Yeah, it's so they were like my kind of first bedroom decor, absolutely all over the place. I did eventually take all that down though, because as I got like older into my teenage years, I was
Listeners, you
got to
can't
stop.
see. She's still got them up.
Emma can see behind me, and she's like, "This is a lie. It's still there." But no,
She's still got them up.
there was kind of the era that I kind of then, when I went into my like secondary school years, it was then you wanted to decorate your bedroom nice then. So it was gone with the take that posters. And I think everyone had like the zigzag bedding
Yeah.
in various different shades. Mine was like pastel. And then you buy little bits for you. I never had the like inflatable chair era.
No.
That never happened. I wanted it like nice. And I had a rowing machine. I was quite into my
I had an exercise bike actually.
yeah,
I
when I was
think
like 14, 15.
yeah, we had an exercise bike. Do you know what? I bet mum and dad have still got it. I bet my mum and dad have still got that exercise bike knocking about somewhere. Yeah, I had an exercise bike. I did a few exercise videos. I had videos that I'd pop in, the old Jane Fonda kind of stuff. And I did a lot of sit-ups, I remember. I can't relate to any of that now because I wouldn't
Oh
do
my
none
God.
of it.
I used to do my rowing machine sit-ups. I think everyone did that. And Rosemary Conley was the
Rosemary Connolly, yeah.
literally it had a yellow cover, and I used to do first I had it on VHS, and then I upgraded and got it on DVD. And that was what I used to use to get in shape. I mean, there was no one went to the gym or did anything of that description. And if you weren't sporty at school, which I was not, it was all about the fitness DVD. But it was either like Jane Fonda or Rosemary Conley. That
Yeah,
was
there was me and my sister had, which is so niche that, and I don't imagine one single other person had this. And there was a character in Neighbours called Kimberly, and we had
yes.
her exercise video, which was
Everyone
great.
had one. Everyone had one, didn't they, back in the day?
And you
Like
just do it and rewind it and do it and rewind, isn't it? I'd like to think now is a little bit more body positive. In the 90s, there was
oh,
not.
I absolutely think it is.
Yeah.
Definitely. But it is like a different like era though, isn't it? And you do worry for like you can't get into the heads of teenagers fully when you're like 40, because they'll tell you that. They're like, oh, you don't know anything. But that sort of era, it was like really, really like you had to try and be skinny, didn't you? It sort of goes in phases. But I do think now there's a lot more body positivity, which is absolutely a good thing, because you don't want
Yeah.
to. Yeah, but I think it's just going to be forever. You still get these crazy like bad diets and things on Instagram. I get
Waist
coming up.
cinch. Yeah, waist cinch.
Mm.
I got an email the other day for a menopause you know when you're 46 when you're getting an email for a menopause makeover, which was like a full tummy, like it was like a stomach removal. There was pictures like a full stomach with it, and it said something like you need to act fast because your time it's going, the longer you leave it, the worse this is going to get. And I was just like, what the hell?
What's
Deleted
gonna
it,
happen if
and I
I don't do?
had a bag of mini eggs. It's like, shove your
Literally, that would be
menopause
my response.
makeover up your bum, Dr. Man. Right, okay. So you like Take That. What other music did you like?
So I love Take That. My rewinding a little bit though into the even earlier kind of. Oh no, we're going to be in the 80s here, not just the 90s. So my first ever cassette tapes that I had were Jason Donovan's album and Kylie Minogue. So Kylie and Jason, absolute like top. And Jason Donovan was my first crush,
Oh, it's gorgeous.
because I
It's
mean,
gorgeous
who
now.
didn't? Well, I
Oh,
recently for my 40th birthday
yeah.
went on a Butlins weekend, those like 80s weekends,
Yeah.
and Jason was there performing. And I was literally I was like, this is the best thing ever. I love him. And I've seen him a couple of times performing, and he is still like hilarious.
Did he sing Sealed with a Kiss? Because that is one of my
He
favorites.
did. And obviously Too Many Broken Hearts as well.
10
That's
Good
a
Reasons. Oh,
yeah, all of those. But he's hilarious now though, because obviously back in the day you're trying to like do your thing and have your image and stuff. He just does not care now. He's hysterical. Like, he's half the time you just don't know what he's going to come out with, but he's still such an amazing,
I
like, his
love
performances are
him.
great.
Silver the
that is,
Kiss is what they played when we left primary school. You know, they always play a sad song when you leave primary school, like to
yeah,
really like make you feel like this is the end of your life, but you literally just leaving primary school. And
yeah.
it's gonna be a long, we're all just
Oh,
sat in the hall. Silver
and
the
especially for you as well, Kylie and
Oh.
Jason was like the ultimate dream. Like, you imagined one day that when you get a boyfriend, it's going to be like Kylie and Jason vibes.
Part
And
of me
school,
still wants them to be together. Part of me
everybody
thinks
does. We're rooting for it still. I still
Kylie
believe.
and Jason. Jason, I think you're married with children, and I'm
Yeah.
still rooting for you to be together. We can do it. We can
Listen,
do
people
it.
get married in nursing homes and stuff. It could happen. It could still happen one day. It could still
It could
happen.
be the love story that would save the world.
It would. That actually would save the world, legitimately. Like, I think she performed. This is going back quite a few years. In Hyde Park or something. She was doing a concert, and she started doing Especially for You, and they had not performed together in literally years. He came out, and I've never seen a response like it. People were actually losing their minds that he walked out. And it was just, I've watched that video on YouTube more times than I am prepared to admit.
It's not too late.
It's not.
Let's start a petition.
I believe it. I believe it in my like very core that it could happen still. But yeah,
Okay,
love.
where were you in the hierarchy of school?
So in primary school, it was a tiny little like C of E school that I went to. So there were not many kids at all. So I felt like, kind of big fish in a small pond there. Then I went to secondary. And even though that was even still really small, that to me felt then like, definitely like big pond then. And I didn't really know where I was, like year 7 and 8. But as I got kind of later into school, there weren't very many of us. Like, there were 90 kids in our year, 90 or 100-ish. That was it.
Wow, yeah.
So I think the ratio of boys to girls as well, it was like, 60 boys, and so there were not very many of us, and everyone knew everybody for that reason. So yeah, I guess I had like a good solid group of friends. I was the one who just did not give a crap. I was always late. So afternoon registration was like beginning, and you could hear the bell, and I'm strolling in with like a can of Dr. Pepper coming back from lunch. Because I don't know, are kids allowed to like wander off at lunchtime at school anymore?
No, I mean, perhaps in the sixth form, but no, not at secondary schools. When
Oh,
you
I
like,
used to go home at lunchtime.
did you? Did you used to do
Yeah.
that in primary school?
So primary, no, but
No, it was
secondary, you could
like,
just go. You could do what you like at lunchtime. So I used to go home and then wander back, but I'd just come wandering back late, be late in the mornings, and I was on like lateness watch or whatever it was. If you do it too many times, I was that
now,
good.
if you don't watch, now this is all making sense to me because your vlogs often start with you going, well, I've had a bit of a late morning.
Literally,
It's like it's 10 o'clock. I'm just going to go off to go and get the bus now. This is all making sense to me.
yeah, I'm not one of those people who's like moody in the mornings
Yeah.
ever. I'm not like that, but I can't get going. It is a severely major problem for me. And I used to work in the NHS, and I used to have to get up at 6. That feels like the middle of the night to me. I don't even know what is going on. That's normal for a lot of people. But I was the same. I was the same in school. I was the same. Like, I just, it's in me to be late. The only thing is, I'm not ever late for anything important.
No,
So
school wasn't important.
yeah, like I would not want word to get around. No, school wasn't, but anything actually important. Like, so I would like to make it known that I was not late for our call.
No, you
I was
weren't
there.
late. You were there. She
No.
was there looking like an absolute legend with beautiful hair.
And if I got a dentist appointment or if it's someone else's time like that, I'm never late, because I feel like I've got to be on my game then. But if I'm just doing whatever and it doesn't matter if I'm late, then I am always late.
I would have thought you were so cool being late walking, because the cool girl to me is somebody who's not only late but then takes the time to get a drink.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they're
Well,
getting. Yeah, I remember being at university and a girl walking in, and then we were friends for so long. She not only was late, she'd gone to get herself a coffee. That to me is cool.
it would be a running joke. And actually, I'm still friends with a lot of people from school. They
Yeah.
might be listening to this, and it became a standing joke. So my like form room looked out onto the school gates. the bell would go, and then I would be wandering through with my Dr. Pepper with a straw every single day, and I wouldn't even walk quickly. I'd just saunter in, get a really nasty look from my form tutor, and I just didn't care.
In
And
my
that,
head, you're Rizzo from Greece.
really, yeah, that was me. I know it's really, really awful. And I actually did start to get in trouble a little bit, not so much for that, but in the mornings. Like
Yeah.
in my last year of school, I would roll in at like 9:30, 10 o'clock at times,
I love
always
this.
with some different excuse. And
I
in the
love
end, I
this.
did get hauled in, and they were like, you know, you've got to pack this in now. This is not okay.
Classic pack it in. Classic 90s,
Yeah,
pack it in. Pack it in. I say it to my kids all the time, pack it in. Okay, so we've worked out what music you're into, what your bedroom was like.
Mm.
So Jason Donovan was your first crush.
Yeah, I mean, it was in primary, so it depends what we're talking. Because obviously, first crush, you know, but if we're talking first, like major one, that was a bit later on, obviously.
Yeah, and was that Mark Owen, or was there anybody
Um,
else you really had the hots for?
Mark was my favorite. I mean, in terms of like celebrity crushes,
Yeah.
it went from like Jason to then like Mark. When I was in secondary school, I don't know who. Then I started fancying actual real people
Real people, yeah.
more. So I mean, I did have a little crush on a lad at school in primary, and I still to this day, because I'm this kind of person who keeps everything, like, and I mean everything, like
Yeah.
sentimental. I have got a Valentine's card he gave me when I was 10. And do you remember, like in the like 80s and 90s, where cards had like something cutesy and they've got that real 80s 90s look? It's
Yeah.
one of them, and it says "To my girlfriend" on it. And I was 10, I still got it.
I never got a Valentine's card. I'm so envious.
Oh,
Did he
it was.
have floppy hair?
So back then, no, it had the floppy hair era hadn't quite emerged
Yeah.
yet, because it was like the curtain hair. That was very much when I just got to secondary. It started with the curtain hair.
I love
And
floppy
I don't know
hair.
if this other era that happened when I was in
Mhm.
secondary school, which it make literally thinking about it makes me want to laugh so hard. All the lads had shaved hair right up into the top, and then they had a perm on top.
Oh, a little perm. Do you know the
Little
perm is
perm.
back? The perm is back. One of my son's friends got a perm. My son's friend's got a perm. The perm is
Is it
coming
on
back.
back?
The perm is back. Yeah, that seems to be a bit of a thing
And an earring
nowadays.
for lads as well. So they had an earring, a
Yeah.
hoop earring, and the shaved hair with little perm on top.
I
That
think that
was
sounds like a nice look.
when
I say bring
it
it back.
started.
When Stephen gets in tonight, I'll be like, get a perm and get an earring. And he'd be like, what are you talking about? You've lost your mind. And he's got a little bald patch. I don't really know how. He'd have to also
Oh,
get like a hair transplant and have some sort of extensions.
yeah, because
I love a floppy
you couldn't
hair.
have it around. No, it's a weird. It was a weird look when it first started, but then I think us girls, you know, there weren't very many of us. There were a lot of boys. We were like, we're going to have to start liking this, because this is just what it is.
It was forced upon you. Did you like any other kind of music? Like in the Blur v Oasis fight, which side were you on?
Okay, so yeah, so I think got a little bit later in school. I remember when I was with my first boyfriend, so I was what, like 15, 16 then. It was Travis. I
Oh,
remember that.
love Travis, yeah.
Loved Travis. Absolutely loved that. Like, I remember like snogging to that. I
Mm.
distinctly like remember that. And Oasis, loved, loved, loved. And one of, still to this day, one of my greatest memories, me and my friend Ben, when I was 16, we went to London and saw Oasis at old Wembley Stadium before it
Oh,
was gone, and it was just one of the greatest days ever. It was a bit scary because we were in like the standing bit. I was only 16, and it was just full of like these older, like mainly guys. And actually on YouTube, I've discovered that particular date and concert that I was at is on YouTube.
oh, nice. Because in those days, we wouldn't have had phones
No,
to
so
take. There'd be no footage. In last week's podcast, I spoke about that I was in a Wonder Stuff video, and since the podcast, I found the video on YouTube. I'd never seen it before, and there's not one phone up. There's not,
no,
like, everybody's just enjoying it and singing it, and I kind of miss those
yeah,
times
I
because now you'd
literally
be like filming it, wouldn't you? You'd be like filming, or you're waiting for them to come on, you film it, and I kind of
yeah, no,
miss
me and
that.
Ben were just, like in the moment, absolutely loved it. It was amazing. And yeah, so I was an Oasis. How about you? Were you like Blur or Oasis?
We haven't had one single person who said Blur. Isn't
No,
that weird?
well,
And the whole podcast, how did they win? I don't understand it. I demand a
I,
recount.
yeah, I mean, I just didn't care about them at all, but Oasis was like definitely the.
Oh, I did
What's your
like it.
favourite Oasis song, out
Oh
of
my
interest?
God. I don't know. I'm actually going to see Liam Gallagher with Stephen in a few
Are
weeks
you?
where he's singing the Definitely Maybe album, I think, in
Oh,
order.
that'll be good.
Yeah, I don't know what my favourite song is. There's so many.
Yeah.
I did have the Blur album, and I did really fancy Damon Albarn.
He was nice. He was nice.
He was, but
Yeah.
I also fancied Liam Gallagher. I had posters of both of them up. Yeah, I don't know what my favourite song is. Stephen just loves Oasis. I think all men in their 40s love Oasis, though,
Of
don't
course,
they?
of course it is. Like mine is a bit of a niche one actually. Mine's Master Plan. That's my
Oh
favorite.
yeah.
I
How
don't
does it
think.
go?
I mean, I'm not singing it. You're gonna have to after this. You're gonna have to, or anyone listening, if they don't know, go and listen to it. That's
Yeah,
my
I do know, but I can't remember how it goes.
favorite.
I'll after listen, pause the podcast, listen to Master Plan, and
Yeah,
then come back to the
and then
podcast.
you'll know. But I can't sing it though because that's no one will ever listen to your podcast again.
All their ears will just burn.
It'll just be
Okay.
melted.
What's your biggest fashion faux pas? You're a very stylish lady. I'm interested.
Oh, you would not eat. I mean, if you could see what I'm wearing
You
now,
look great.
it gives. It's I'm wearing like the loudest hoodie with Disney snacks all
But
over it.
Ariel hair, you look gorgeous.
But my fashion, I was always way out there with what I would wear.
Yeah.
And there's a couple that come to mind massively. So I had a dress. I used to go to under 16s club night. So at school,
Oh,
it
love
was the under
them. Yeah.
16s. I don't know if they still have that. Like, is that
I
still a
don't
thing?
think they still have that anymore, and it's a
Oh,
shame because they were bloody great. I saw Ant and Decker, PJ and Duncan were at one. I just loved it. The local radio station. Oh, you go there and they'd like throw
oh.
out free singles or whatever, and you'd be like, oh
But
God.
that was your like your social calendar at
Yeah.
school revolved around like the under 16s club night, and some
Mm.
kids weren't allowed to go, so they were always really annoyed. But yeah, I had this dress that basically looked like tinfoil. It was from Bay Trading Company.
Oh yeah, my classic.
And it literally was like shiny as tinfoil. And it was a dress. And my mum, a lot of people will know this if they watch my vlogs, is amazing at sewing.
Oh, so good, yeah.
So she still makes me stuff to this day. I decided, sorry, and asked her, I wanted it as a two-piece instead. So this tinfoil dress then became a little crop top and skirt. And now I look back on it, it was just like the worst thing ever.
It's
And
giving Posh Spice, I think. Was it like a boob tube top? I feel like it's giving Posh Spice.
it's so funny you say that because my absolute total style icon towards like the last couple of years at school was Victoria Beckham.
Yeah.
Everything, well, I had the hair, if you can believe it, the really, really short hair. You would not imagine that on me now. I had that as well. And the other terrible faux pas in about 1998 or 1999, there was a little phase of a dress that was like open at the front and you wore hot pants under it. I don't know if anybody was in that era. You
I
had
think
to
that
be
sounds brilliant. What would you wear on your feet?
so high, like massive heels, and
Yeah.
but the dress was as short as the hot pants, so you were effectively barely wearing any clothes. And then off we'd go to under 16s club night, and I had a black one and Lisa had a purple one.
Oh, lovely. I bet you look great.
And we were just like living on it. We probably thought we looked absolutely like, this is the best outfit ever. Now if I was to take a look at myself wearing, I'm glad there was no photos and phones really, because
Oh God, no.
I wouldn't be able to unsee it if I saw it now. But
Did you go to any actual clubs before you were 18, or pubs or bars or stuff?
I did.
It's a safe space. We all did. We all did.
I kind of started earlier than I should. The one thing about me when I was a teenager, if anybody wants to kind of get the full idea of what I was like aside from the lateness, I started kind of going out drinking with my brother's friends. Even my brother didn't used to go out. He sort of started all that bit later on when I was 15, the later part when I was 15. And because I lived in a small town and it was like 1998, 99, whatever it was, nowhere cared. They would serve you drinks when you were quite clearly 15, 16-year-old kids. So it's easy to go out. So I started quite young with that. And hence the kind of crazy outfit. So I transitioned. I stopped going to the under 16s club night, and then I started going to the adult drinking. So
my daughter turns 14 this year, and I started going to clubs. I didn't drink, but I started going to clubs when I was 14. She is a child. How the hell would we be let in places? Because she looks like a child still.
Yeah.
How age 14 were we being let into these? I went to the institute in Birmingham, I don't understand it.
Honestly, it was wild. Like there'd be a group of us, they didn't care. There was maybe like one club in town that was a bit more kind of like, nope, we need
No one
ID, but
cared.
nowhere else cared. And also I had my first tattoo when I was 15. I lied about my age and had that when I was 15. And the other one I was only 17. So both of them, I wasn't even old enough for that.
I was old enough to have, I was 18 when I got what's your first tattoo? What was it?
I mean, this is going to come as zero surprise to anyone, because so the first one I had done, whatever year that was, when was I? So it would have been 1998. It is a Chinese symbol on my stomach.
A Chinese symbol on my shoulder.
Of course. And then the other one I had done in 2000, and it's a tramp stamp, like a tribal thing on the bottom.
What's your Chinese symbol for? If we've got the same one, I'll really laugh.
I actually can't remember. Even I just looked at them. There was like a thing on the wall, and I was like, "I'll have that one."
What
My brother's
if it's like
friend,
bum or something?
I think I must have picked it. It must have been like whatever.
Mine was woman. Mine means
woman.
woman.
Oh my gosh! I had that when I was both of those when I was underage. So I was that person. Like all I wanted to do was be 18. That's all I wanted. I wanted to be able to do what I wanted, to be over 18, to be able to do. I was. My mum always used to say I was, like 11 going on like 25.
Absolutely love it. Have you ever thought about getting your tattoo removed, your Chinese symbol removed?
I mean, I've thought about it because obviously I had it done so young. Over the years where you lose and gain weight, it goes.
Oh, mine's just a blob. Mine is just like
yeah. It's just like a weird blob. But I think the one on my stomach I'd probably leave, and the one on my back it's so iconic of that era. I almost cannot, and I think it's back, I have to say, because that era was the hipster trousers as well.
Yeah,
so
everyone's
trousers were so low down, they practically were like falling off. So that's why you had the tattoo there, and I think it's back.
I saw a TikTok the other day about. I will say I saw it on the news. When I say I've seen something on the news or read something, it's literally off TikTok. So everything, I just take it as gospel. But they were talking about how the tramp stamp was men calling it tramp stamp because it's just a tattoo. Like why is it? It doesn't mean why does it mean you're a tramp? It's just stupid. It's just a tattoo on your back. But they renamed it and like they've got the tramp stamp. Mine's on my I remember getting one on my shoulder. My friend was like, oh no. But sometimes I've toyed with the idea of like turning it into like a Disney one or something, because mine is just a blob now. But sometimes you forget you've got it, and I'm like, oh, what's that? Look.
What's going on? I think the thing is, like, for me, I can't change it because it is. I'm quite sentimental about everything. So all things like that, I'm just like, that was that era, and because I actually really enjoyed my teenage years, so to me, I kind of love it because I feel like it was such a good.
I think if you have got a tattoo, please message me. If you've got a Chinese symbol, please, between us, we must have every Chinese word out there.
Oh, we must. Yeah, between everyone must have.
I've met so many people that have got a Chinese symbol. Okay, first snogs. I want to hear about it. Where was it? You don't have to say the real name if you don't want to. Was it gross? Was it nice?
So I do distinctly remember. So if we're talking first snog, because obviously everyone had a little kiss, didn't they? But snog is a different thing. I do remember, and I was around at my friend's house after school, and she was going out with a guy, and then by default I ended up going out with his friend. You know how that happens, because it just does. And we were sat in our living room, and he just kind of like went in for it, and it was not great, I will say. It wasn't like disastrously bad, but it was all I'm going to say is like washing machine. I was getting washing machine vibes from the it was a bit over enthusiastic, and I didn't know it was my first one, so I didn't really know what was going on. I was like, well, I'm assuming he's done this before, perhaps he hadn't, but it wasn't the best. I'm not gonna lie.
Did you feel like a sense of relief? Were you like, well, that's that over then, so I don't have to worry about that anymore?
Like at that kind of like, age, you're just like, I need to just get this done, and then you can kind of figure out later whether it was good or not, because you've got nothing to compare it to. But it was very much the kind of like mechanical washing machine. I'm just trying to get over enthusiastic. Yeah, not on my side. I was just going with it, but
just like
I was just like, oh, this is happening.
God, it's so just a lot of wet and no, thank you very much.
it's a lot of pressure like to have your first snog, because other people were telling you, oh, did you hear such and such? And because everyone knew everyone, it was a small school, so everybody knew if someone had snogged someone. If you hadn't yet, it was like, I've got to get on this now because I'm going to be the only one in a minute.
Because I went to an all-girls school, I didn't get that quite so
Oh, so you
much.
wouldn't have had
Yeah, we
that.
did. We did. There was like a group. We knew boys from the boys' school. So obviously everybody was just snogging the same, like, I don't know, 6 boys.
Obviously, yeah.
So I did. It wasn't in your face. We weren't like. I don't recall talking about it a lot during the day. I don't remember that many conversations about it, or maybe I just was completely oblivious. I don't know. Mine wasn't till I was 18. So
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
you were
I
like,
would.
oh.
There's me, like, wow. No, only because that makes me seem really bad.
No, you're not, you're the norm. I was not the norm. I got probably got a tattoo and snogged somebody in the same week, to be honest.
Could have been the
So
same
yeah, I was
thing.
quite old. Okay. What would you say your biggest teenage success was?
Oh, this is difficult for me because I wasn't very when I say I loved school, I loved the social side of school. I did not like anything about the learning part. So you know where you've got the kids who are like doing the Duke of Edinburgh thing, or they're doing this and they do that, was so not me. So I had no kind of like successes in that kind of sense. My successes would have been more like social successes, I think. And I'm trying to think what would have been my. Oh, that is quite a tough one. Do you know what felt like success to
Mm.
me in terms of a fashion, style, and general social success? For our prom, so proms had only just really started becoming a thing in the UK. In the US, they have been for forever, but they didn't used to be, did they?
No.
Really? So we were kind of one of the first few years that had one. And so nobody really knew, like, oh, what should we be wearing? You know, like some type of ball gown. And Victoria and David Beckham had just got married,
Yeah.
and she had 2 dresses. Obviously, she had her wedding dress, and in the evening, she had this really nice dress. It was purple and red
Yeah.
on the inside,
I remember.
with a lit up the leg, and it was amazing. Everybody else, I think, had like gone into town and bought whatever kind of long dress they could find. My mum made me an exact replica of Victoria Beckham's evening dress, except I had it black with red inside, and it was amazing. And on prom night,
That's,
I
oh
was
my
just like, I
gosh.
had the Victoria Beckham hair. I was like, I feel like I am literally like living my ultimate prom life. Like, it turned out exactly. So
Oh,
that was a success to me.
that sounds so lovely. That
I was
sounds
I was
such a
living the
nice
dream. Other
dress.
people would answer that question with, yeah, I did this, and I got
No,
it. For like, no,
no.
that was
We've had people saying I stole someone's boyfriend. We've had people saying I downed a big disgusting drink that loads. Like, we've had all sorts.
no, me turning up to the prom as Victoria Beckham, I think, was probably that was a defining
So you've
moment.
gone from Rizzo in Grease in my head to now Sandy in Grease when she turns up in leather trousers, except you were in a knockoff Victoria Beckham dress.
Exactly that. Exactly. I kind of had several different types of personality.
Exactly that. Okay, is there anything you kind of regret from your teen years?
I think if I had to think about what I would regret, I think it was probably focusing too much on what you look like. So there was a lot of, and it's like you said, in that kind of period of time, I do feel like that was a really big thing. I'm sure it is now to some degree, but then it was like massively, and just like worrying about it. So not so much like doing things to look different or crazy things to be really skinny, but like worrying, this person looks better than me, or do you know what I mean? Like all of that sort of. I think I kind of regret doing that a little bit. I've never regretted not being better at school. Like, a lot of people would say that, like, oh no, I'd go back in time and apply myself more. But I've never ever been like that. So I didn't even. I hated college. I started it, didn't carry on with that. Like, I've always been someone who wants to do my own thing, and I still say so. I actually wouldn't go back and try and apply myself more, because I feel good about how I kind of did it, really. But
Oh, that's good. If
yeah.
you could go back and say something to little Victoria, what would you say?
Oh, I would say, do you know what I would say is to have more patience.
Yeah.
I feel like anything that ever did go wrong, or any kind of bad stuff that happened, 99% of the time would have been because I just had zero patience. The biggest thing, when you can hear your mum in your head still from things she used to say when you were a child, as in, I'm going to count to 3 and pack it in and stuff like that. The other thing that I can literally always remember is patience is a virtue. She had to bring that out nearly every single day because I was just terrible. So I would probably tell younger Victoria, just like, have patience, don't rush anything. Everything's a process. Don't ever force anything. Don't rush it. Everything will go how it's supposed to.
And
That's what I
she
think.
would turn around to you and say, sod off, you don't know what you're talking about.
She'd be like, you're 40. What are you on about? Shut up.
She'd take out a Dr. Pepper and just be like, ugh, and just roll her eyes and roll off.
Exactly. I thought I knew everything when I was that age. I didn't think anyone could tell me anything. And to be fair to my mum, like, me and my mum, as a lot of people will know if you watch my vlogs, we're so close. She's like my best friend, my mum. She gave me so much freedom as a teenager, more than most people got. But I do think she totally got that right. I really do. And at the time, she was probably thinking, oh my gosh, like, what is going to happen here? But I've just got to trust her and all the rest of it. And actually, and back then you could do that a little bit more than these days.
God, yeah, like, I'd be beat bopping all over the shop with no mobile phone, nobody knowing what we were doing. My mum and dad were exactly the same. My mum and dad, there was no curfews, there was nothing. And like, me and my sister were very well behaved, really. We didn't do anything too outrageous. We went to the odd. We used to go to like flipping all over the country for all these boy bands and stuff, and we were like, she would have been like blooming 13 and I'd have been 15, like Erin's age, off to, what are you doing today? Oh, I'm off to Macclesfield to go and see, I don't know, Bad Boys Inc. or Worlds Apart or something. It's just a completely different time, wasn't it?
Yeah. And she used to say to me, like, because I used to have my boyfriend staying over right at the end of school.
Yeah.
And I was late all the time. And she'd just say to me, well, it's your problem if you're late. They're gonna, and like, she just wouldn't do anything. She would tell me, like, stop doing it, obviously. But she didn't push it or like get really funny. She was like, well, you're going to get in trouble in a minute, aren't you? And I did. And then I'd have to sort it out. But she would let me do that. She wouldn't be there pushing the door or forcing me to do anything. She'd be like, well, you'll just have to deal with it. And
she sounds great. Are you glad you grew up then, or do you wish you were growing up now?
Oh no, I'm so glad I grew up then. I think it was the best time to grow up, before phones, before social media, despite what I do now. And obviously I'm on social media a lot, but I think it was a great time to grow up, actually. I do.
Yeah,
it was.
No, 100%. I'm glad I grew up there. I mean, I like the aspect now that it's easier to find more like-minded people, and you get to see all sorts of different types of people, which obviously we did not see that. So I do like that aspect, that my children will have a different point of view to some things. But no, I'm glad I grew up then. Okay, can you tell the people where they can find your wonderful Disney vlogs?
So they can find my channel on YouTube. So I'm Disney in Detail on YouTube and also on Instagram. And I actually do have another channel, Victoria in Detail, which is kind of other stuff I'm doing and other travel. So the Disney stuff is specifically on Disney.
Yeah, you popped about a Target haul I saw the other day.
Yeah, people love a Target. I am
honestly, love a Target haul.
It never ceases to amaze me. I could put one up every time I go to Florida, and people always watch it. And it gets so many views. People are obsessed with Target. But if you put up something else, people are like, no, it's Target. It's just,
and you know what? They're right, because Target's amazing.
Target is amazing. Nobody's wrong for wanting to watch.
The snacks in America are 100% better than the snacks here, and the Fanta Orange, I dream of it nightly, because it's just the best drink in the world, full of absolute rubbish.
I mean, that's the thing that's just a bit, don't ever look at anything you're buying as to what's in it. Don't do that. Just buy it, enjoy it. You're on holiday, it doesn't count, and then just leave again. But
you'll have like, Twizzlers are a low-fat snack. Well, yes, because it's 100% sugar. So there's no fat in it, but there's just pure sugar. Orange, it'll be like, I think actually the Fanta Orange says no natural colouring, or it says something strange. It says something quite strange on it. It's like, is it just poison? I don't mind. For 2 weeks, that's what I'm going to drink every day.
They're proud of it. So I bought, I don't know what it was some bottle of drink, and it said contains no natural flavors in like big letters on the front, as if that's like a flex, like this does not contain anything good. And I was like, okay.
I tell you one thing that we saw this time in California, which I've never seen in Florida, so it must be like different rules for different states. They have like signs up saying things like, in this shop, there will be where you do sell things that might give you cancer. And you're like, what the hell? Even at the tills, my kids are like, what? This is terrifying.
It is wild. Like that's one thing that I do find in America, if you're British, and that's why we're so fascinated by stuff. Like if you go to like the medication section, you can literally buy stuff that is only on prescription over here. You can buy bottles of like 1,000 paracetamol and stuff like that. Over there, they're just kind of like, whatever you do is your problem. Like if you do anything with anything or drink things that are going to poison you or whatever, they're just like,
You'll be sitting there watching like a lovely family show. We like Shark Tank. And then an advert will come up and it'll be like, take this medication for piles. Warning, if you take this, you could probably die and you might lose both your legs and your head will fall off. And you're like,
literally, yeah.
Just watching.
They're like, we've told you though, so if you take it, then it's on you.
Like, it's scaring my kids. Okay, we're getting distracted. Go and check out Victoria's vlogs. Thanks so much for coming on the podcast. And guys, thanks so much for listening. We've got loads more fun episodes coming up in season 5. So be sure to subscribe or like and also go and leave a review. My dad always leaves a review. So that's nice.
Oh, I love that.
He always leaves a review and he'll be like, what a nice chat between two ladies. Roger.
Oh, I love Rog.
So go and keep Rog company, guys, and leave me a review. And I will see you for an episode soon. And I will see you online, Victoria. Thanks for coming on. See you later. Bye.